everybody say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. So Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things? You...
Hello, good morning. And you see, for me, my cradles, and if you are pay the 10th of November 2023, the Jumedias from Queen Ebebro, a legal education award BWT. So, any BWF solicitors, Ajumai for NIED Sajumay, ɛbɛyɛ hɔ kakra na sɛ mayɛ tii ɛna anɔpɛ ɛwɔ sɛ ɔba na mede dwuma nanso biribi nti ɛnɛ metena mu de ama no yɛfrɛ no Obereku ɔwɔsu Frimpong na ɛnɛ anɔpɛ ɛfiri saa bere kɔpem sɛ dubaako ɛbɛbɔ probably a little later yɛbɛ apologize sɛ yɛnstarte ntɛm but ne nyinaa mu no deɛ yɛbɛdi kɔmmɔ afa ho no ɛyɛ biribi a ɛhia wo paa na wo nso bɛtumi anya ho mfasoɔ. Ne nyinaa ɛyɛ mmerɛ mu nkɔmmɔ a yɛde brɛ wɔ ɛnɛ anɔpɛ yi na me nko a ɛna mewɔ ha me ne me nuaba lawyer Eunice ɛna ɛwɔ ha. Eunice, good morning.
Good morning. Oreku patron ho to say.
Nyame adom bɔkɔɔ na wo sɛ.
Nyame adom patron me ho ye.
Yɛda nyame ase. Anɔpɛ yi deɛ mabɛgye ɛyi mo space na mayi bi to kakra.
Ai, ayehwe ye Joseph bɔkɔɔ.
Good. Yɛda nyame ase na patro adwuma mu ne abusuafoɔ nyinaa ho te sɛ.
Nyame adom obia ho ye.
Yɛda nyame ase. Ɛnɛ anɔpɛ yi yɛde nkɔmmɔ ɛba bɛhyɛ so na yɛbɛbobɔ nneɛma baako anaa mmienu so but mbɛ sɛ topic a yɛde ɛba bɛto dwa no me bie n'ani so kakra ɛde ɛkyerɛ atiefoɔ na mɛsan aka mu nyinaa nso sɛ yɛde telephone numbers no ɛbɛto hɔ a wobɛtumi afrɛ na wone yɛn ɛdi nkɔmmɔ right in the studio bɛyɛ 0208 493 7345. Yeah, Kaidsa 0208 493 7345. And on the number and your day ebe juma your text number and sunny ade ni the better eja. Line is ye share emofra ye register omo ebe kabusian form and answer on by British citizenship. Na and category pese ye share no ye and answer mother obe register neba. Is there a difficult process, Miss Anessa?
Usually, no, I know say when it comes to registration, no, it's quite simple. It's not very strenuous to say senya ABA, for instance, obia otse amanone ABA or apply for British passport amane bana otse amanone ebe strenuous. It is quite a fairly simple process where you make the application or the documents now or more request ebe home. Na at least say bibi wɔ hɔ a ebi a lawyer betumi akyerɛw sɛ fa say ni ɛka ho na ɛnyɛ fairly simple na at least within 6 months no wobɛnya ɛno mboayɛ.
Yo, abusuafoɔ nti ɛnɛ nkɔmmɔ no yɛbɛhwɛ sɛnea categories ahodoɔ no ɛsi ɛteɛ me ba ɛna mpɛ sɛ me kɔkɔfa no ba ma wari mu nhyehyɛ ne adeɛ how do those things affect a year registration na ɛbɛyɛ no yɛbɛyɛ ne ho naasɛ yɛbɛdi ɛho nkɔmmɔ bebree nti mesrɛ wo mmɔden sɛ wonyi w'afidie no mfiri ha na wone yɛn ɛbɛtena ɛwɔ BWTV so lɔyɛnis metwa ho aba sesi a abusuafoɔ yɛtwa ho aba sesi a.
Our private client services team is recognized for providing clear and practical legal advice to our clients in the United Kingdom and Ghana. Expert help with will writing, probate or estate administration. Our will writers and probate lawyers can act for you to obtain grant of probate and carry out estate administration on your behalf. The probate takes place after someone dies. If there's a will, the named executor is responsible for ensuring that the estate of the deceased is secured, assessing its value and paying any inheritance tax. If there is no will, the interstate and inheritance rules require similar responsibilities. Our lawyers offer strategic and practical solutions to the issues which clients face, whether it's in relation to succession planning, will preparation, probate and the administration of estates, immigration and visas, contentious family or probate disputes, administering estates often with inheritance cross-border issues, international trust advice including residence, domicile issues, wealth preservation, a fast, efficient service from SRA regulated professionals, transparent pricing. BWF Solicitors, let us take care of probate.
Ready for the ultimate property and lifestyle experience? Get ready for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023, coming to 2 exciting locations. Join us in London on the 11th and 12th of November, where leading reputable real estate developers will be waiting to meet you face to face. Be inspired by industry experts as they provide thought-provoking panel discussions and live Q&A sessions. And finally, mark your calendars for the 16th and 17th of December when the expo lands in Accra, Ghana. Experience the vibrant lifestyle and rich culture of Ghana while exploring investment opportunities in the thriving real estate market. Our expo will also feature exhibitors ranging from banking and legal services to estate and property management. Get all the support and information you need under one roof. So whether you're looking to invest, visit or simply explore the world of real estate, the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023 is the place to be. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Book your tickets now via Eventbrite for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023. Dream it, live it. You don't want to miss out.
Yo, abusua ya try aba nti yede komo no eba be hyehyɛ so yedi mo ya we apologize yentimi ansate right on the dot at 9:30 no but better late than never nti mo fa enche ye be kwa ebre no dia hyemu ade amma mo amo so no. Let me acknowledge some of you now. So good morning, BWF Solicitors team. God bless you for the good work. Joseph Sia and Ade Ano Ababeto so. Yeah, well, Asante Richard and so good morning, family. Asante Eda say one share page, you know, among phone. So then when you come on, announce your presence now. Yeah, like a page, you know, then you can put in your comment on the comment page. Or both YouTube and Facebook. Santa Richard Yeda say, promise please share. Yes, Obi and share page, you know, and Lina Ewo YouTube so or say good morning, all blessings for your dedication. Community no edo enti obi brebia explain so a yeba na yedijumedi no ebrel. Yeah, yana sa no fe moma yemkwe na yemisa lawyer you know say updates bang na ewo ho for this week and Sunday they come out main come on ahye so.
Okay, mame nso enhyia ye tiefo ne ahwefo a omo ehwɛ yɛn ɛwɔ Facebook anaasɛ YouTube. So yeah, Dayami ase said ended day mo abɛka yɛn nsa. Nti I hope say ended there mobetumi ahyɛ na at least obi biara a obetumi aba so nso etie asɛmpa pa a ɔno nso ebetumi ɛde abɔ ne ho ban. In terms of updates, no, yenshada ni updates which are new for this week. But their mechanics say when it comes to applications, no, I know say a lot of people, especially say oh yeah, family root application, whether as a parent or as a partner, usually for more UK hanum say more yes applications now there is still that priority service available. Priority service fees no so say that and yet 800 biom to say I could do £1,000. And of course, oh was asikana over to me, I application no I priority service the account senya wobenya decision no entem. A lot of people I know say when it comes to these things no say chair not employers no so bisa say still na say hwe. But the good thing is the fact say when it comes to um making these applications almost way almost share or employability um should I say right to work online into one of the things I kind last week was the fact say almost air introducing e-visas because of the fact that almost jai biometric card issuance from next year into say well employer no epe or share or right to work and I say oh rent dan and estate agents no epe almost share will right to rent to me akọ online to view your immigration status into omoko.gov.uk website na betumi ebisa for share code ana crampo say omoko employability checking service website no so betumi the details ashame with wo home office reference number to show say oh yeah application or home office and no be with details no aba so there are now two ways to do it. Whether they use the employability checking service online and now say omo used to share code now the bema omo no more I check it say you have the right to work. Into and also ewo ho man for abia omo air train decision omo sanka decision as yet because I know say the processing time for most parent applications no, is almost a year nti ɛno no saa no sɛ woretwɛn it's better say at least the employer will have a way or a means by which a wɔbɛtumi akyɛke saa nneɛma wei nti update
Learners, Miss me say we say sa employers or checking no more no. Say or the baba to him say you perceive who say oh right so be juma any idea. Employer no na hyɛ no sɛ ɔnkɔhwehwɛ anaasɛ wo na wo pɛ adwuma no na ɛwɔ sɛ wodi akyire ɛkɔ prove sɛ wowɔ right sɛ ɔbɛyɛ adwuma.
Usually, the liability lies with the employer because of the fact, say, when it comes to them being liable for employing an immigrant who is not legal, they will have to pay that penalty charge. And a lot of employers, of course, one person will pay to £50,000 for each employee, dear. You will definitely do the check as required. So it is the onus is on the employer to do those checks rather than wo employee na oye adwuma ama omo.
Na sɛ wankɔ check a ɔwɔ right sɛ wobɛtumi aka sɛ mendi anaasɛ memma wɔ adwuma no because mempɛ sɛ mɛkyɛke.
Oh, there's no way I'll wait to me. Like I say, or you will do it from a dream just because some person will check it. Of course, if they've made the right checks, produce that evidence to you say, oh, I checks me say nearby. And of course, if the check says that you do not have the right to check to work, then they should produce that evidence to you to show say, checks no say nearby and say you with it. But they cannot say omo in your checks into omo you with the keke. Unfortunately, they have should I say obligations under the Employability Rights Act and so they make sure to say they do those checks as well.
Yeah, now my updates any other one and sana be a discussion or so.
That's just the main one. I know say Breno Kakari and see we'll just move on with our main topic for today. Yes.
Any na for any ahwefo say afi enwa join and legal education no the ebro registration of mafra na ba behwe no from the angle of maame no say obetumi a register ne ba wa bra wa ware foforo say me fa na say Loin correct me if I'm wrong say me wo abofra no na me wo relationship foforo ma na mo ware foforo mu man register as the same I call our area for from and me person me register me ban from a previous relationship possible. Am I correct?
You see, of course, when you're looking at it, we're looking at it holistically into
Mm-hmm.
whether nipa chrono ewoba within that current relationship or has had previous children and is now in a new relationship or kase afid or perse or register in Kolano because Owomba from previous relationship and the current relationship, and she wants to make sure say in Kolano so be to me in ya I hanom assetna nibi. First now your friend the red books is there yeah navy blue book. See yes, it's just looking at that broad spectrum of in Kola omame awo omo a omo pese omo register.
Okay. And then I me addition say you register abofra. What are the processes? You meeting a no quickly.
In regards to registration of akola, yɛn na yɛnim sɛ when it comes to yɛn mbra no a British Nationality Act of 1981 ɛka sɛ ebi akola ne maame anaasɛ ne papa settled wɔ UK kurom ha ɔno nso ebetumi ayɛ British. And usually when they speak about akola anaasɛ minor, ɔmo ka obi a ɔyɛ under the age of 18 into from 0 months to the age of 17 and 11 months you are under the age of 18 into no sano you are automatically British say oh mama no papa were settled at the time omo wo
Mm-hmm.
UK room ha. And then of course you have Nkola Abia for instance Abia time na omo mama ne omo papa ewo omo no they were not settled into afe na omo abenya omo afebo akwala no 85 omo pese omo ho kwan a omo betumi egyina so I register akwala no. And usually if the parents were married at that time no then it means say akwala no can derive ne citizenship no from ne papa honom to show that at least or no British and so. But you have to go through the registration process to fill in the rights application form and sign a winya or British book. And then you have in Kola awo ɔmo wɔ kurom ha ɔmo parents ebi ɔmo wɔ nkrataa ebi nso ɛnni nkrataa but because akwadaa no yɛawo no wɔ kurom ha watena kurom ha for at least 10 years no saa akwadaa no ebetumi nso aregister to be British nti saa akwadaa no as long as they are able to provide evidence of their first 10 years of their life no ɔno nso saa no betumi aregister to be British. And then you have children who are also born here in the UK. Ebia, omo mame and nasa omo papa enya indefinite leave to remain. Omo beje British citizenship. And omo pesa omo register in Kolano because omo nina enya omo affable and nasa settled status. Into omo pesa omo register omo ankasa omo mbano and then naturalize themselves as British citizens. Into and also sa another form of registration for nkwalaa a wɔwɔ kurom ha. Nti those ones are just different applications for children within the UK. And of course, so person will register akwalaa who is outside of the UK nso so a, then it means say, so to make sure say akwalaa na wo no outside of the UK no, na saa akwalaa no ne maame anaasɛ ne papa no na ɔyɛ British ni a yɛka sɛ of course okura British citizenship anaasɛ British passport ansa na yɛbɛwɔ saa akwalaa no. And so of course you have that category of people and I say nkwalaa over to me I register omo under your British Nationality Act of 1981.
Okay. Right. So you hear senior registration no esi ekwa akwala me pesa me hunu say you can akwada na just say a year from say ya wo no ekosi say age 17 18 say me wo abofra beyond that meeting your register no.
So if akwadaa no more than 18 there, by definition of the law no or adult.
Mhm.
Nti ɛno no saa no, unless you are saying say yɛwɔ akwadaa no wɔ ha
Mhm.
na wokyerɛ sɛ the first 10 years of their life they were living here in the UK. Nti ebia wabɛyɛ adult but still naa no saa akwadaa no because of the fact sɛ no sɛ 1 year saa registration at the time of his minor age wopɛ sɛ woyɛ registration ne sisi a it is possible to do so because you are saying say yes even though a ɔnyɛ akwadaa under the age of 18 no wopɛ sɛ wohu sɛ akwadaa no ɛtena ha for the first 10 years of their life na onim sɛ obetumi ayɛ saa process no nti afei na woyɛ process no ama no there is that as well and then there's also the fact say for instance ebinom wɔ hɔ a they have past the age of 18 and
Mhm.
because their parents no are British no they want to now register because they were born outside of the UK instead also ever hosa but if for any reason they don't meet the categories that I've mentioned yeah then it means some more naturalized if they are in the UK.
But if they are outside of the UK, or me, used to any me, I register or naturalize it because or more parents are quite British citizenship.
Yes, and so if they are outside of the UK, they can register if their parents were British at the time of their birth. And see, for instance, Omo parents naturalize it as a British citizen and son or more, you can register them as British. Those who are obviously outside of the UK would say said they are British by descent.
Mhm.
Whereas, of course, say if for instance you're looking at British overseas territories in Southern California, so because they were known to be British overseas territory citizens, so they could also register their children to be British because of the fact that they were colonized by Britain. Into Enono Sano, even though in Kolane, they can still go through the process of registration when it comes to becoming a British citizen. Yeah.
Okay, so the conundrum what we have now. So say, na me wama in a previous relationship, and yeah, question no, because can a child be registered to be British if the mother was married to somebody else? Situations sa nti obi betumi akɔ relationship mu no afiri mu ne ma anom ne adeɛ saa situation a yɛka ho asɛm yi is it possible?
It is possible. And see, I'll explain.
Okay.
When it comes to relationships, yɛn nyinaa yɛnim sɛ nsɛm etumi sisi. It could be say ebi a nipa korɔ no enya ɛba ansa na ɔreware. So
Mhm.
it's a blended family because obviously ɔde mba a wawo ɔmo from a previous relationship aba relationship nim. Nti of course there is that family unit where children from the other relationship have now come into the relationship. And I say, on also, aba awareɛ no mu a wabɛwo. And of course, if there's the case where, for instance, akwalaa no ɛnyɛ ne kunu ɛba a, then how does she go about the registration? And I think said this is something that, of course, some people may fall into and it's important say yɛde saa nneɛma wei ɛbɛtoto dwa na nkurɔfoɔ ehu how they would necessarily go about it. I mean, the first thing that most people would have done would be okay, menya me settlement and I say menya me afebɔɔ a na metumi ayɛ ama akwadaa no because
Mhm.
at least metumi akyerɛ sɛ akwadaa no is still under the age of 18 nti metumi akyerɛ sɛ saa akwadaa no me ba a me register no as British.
Okay.
But if, for instance, ebi a woda 10-year route no so na wodwen sɛ 10-year route no so deɛ ɛwɔ o. Ɛbɛkyɛ ansa na menya me afebɔɔ ansa na metumi nso aregister akwadaa wei.
Mhm.
Nti there were options biom ɛna mewɔ apart
Yeah.
from the fact that me ankasa menya me settlement na metumi ɛde ayɛ akwadaa wei ɛdeɛ ama no. And so when it comes to yeah, British Nationality Act, as I mentioned before, no, in you say from section 59A, no, it shows the fact that when it comes to obia or cast papa for nationality purposes, no, it is usually ukunu one ne atna ansana obewo sa akwalaa. And it also goes on to explain, say, before July of 2006, no, if the parents were not married there, and they're not akolano, urging the citizenship, no, if you name ho direct. But after the 1st of July 2006, no, it became possible, say, so over to me, actually, say, akolane papa any through either birth sets na yɛde ɛmaa no time na yɛwɔ akwadaa no anaasɛ through court order ɛkyerɛ sɛ wei ɛyɛ akwadaa no papa anaasɛ through DNA evidence to show sɛ wei ɛna ɛyɛ akwadaa no papa then they can go ahead and then register this child based on the proof of paternity na ode ama
About
omo,
okay.
because obviously it would have been difficult to just wait on you, the mother, no, to be able to get your citizenship and as a wo afebo ansa na obe register akola no. But yeah, I am to say after the 1st of June 2006, no, Omo made it possible for those who are, let's say, married or unmarried to be able to get paternity from, I mean, citizenship from Omo Papa and I say Omo Papa na yeah, kasa Omo biological father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Na yɛmfa no sɛ ɔbaa no aba abɛware. Ɔbɛwareeɛ no, ne kunu no yɛ British. Nti ɔpɛ sɛ ɔfa nkwalaa no anda. Ɛm sɛ makyerɛ yɛn mu sɛ after some time sisi no mmara no kyerɛ sɛ nipa a ɔne ɔbaa no te a wɔaware no, ɔno ne yɛmfa no sɛ ɔyɛ papa. Nti saa nkwalaa no anda papa no, can they derive their British citizenship from the new husband, if I'm allowed to even use that word?
Put it that way. Nti usually no, say yɛka sɛ maame no abɛware nti nkɔlaa no a ɔmo free previous relationship no aba no, then
Mhm.
a ɔde ɛyɛ in terms of the citizenship.
Mhm.
Usually when it comes to children who are under the age of 18, sɛ woka sɛ nkɔlaa no ebi a ɔmo nya afebɔɔ no bi, ɔmo nya settlement, wopɛ sɛ wo register ɔmo a, they would usually be registered under Section 3.1, which is the discretion, which your Home Secretary no ɛwɔ. And under Section 3.1, because yɛnim sɛ ɛyɛ discretion nti, Home Office wɔ ɔmo own guidance and also ɔmo own policy in regards to how they will go about the registration. Into what they usually say in say is if, for instance, akwadaa no under the age of 18, na share the fact say akwadaa no because of the fact that what's not UK Chrome ha yɛnhwɛ awofoɔ no ɔmo mmienu nya afebɔɔ anaasɛ emu baako naturalize anaasɛ emu baako British anaa. In this case, if the parents, or should I say the stepfather is British,
Mhm.
they will also consider that as well. And then there is the situation where, for instance, ebia in Kolano, Omankasa no, they have come from another country, which is Ghana, for instance.
Mhm.
Into because they are under the age of 13, they are looking at the fact, say, San Kolawe, how long ena omode atna UK Chrome ha.
Okay.
Usually, if they have lived here even less than 2 years crampuna, they can still go through the registration process. It's only when they are above the age of 13 and on which say on what na had 2 years or more and sana on qualify for this registration process. In say if in any case we are saying say they've lived here, let's say even a year because they are under the age of 13, or more than 3 years because they are above the age of 13. Na omo parents back home, ewo nkrataa but oni afebɔ, ɛna ɔmo stepfather nso ɛwɔ British citizenship, then the Home Office obviously will consider all of these scenarios and the fact say maybe if they have other children in the relationship, maybe those other children are also British, and they will use their discretion to basically decide, say, and they're able to me, I register in Kwalawe, to also be British. But it's also very, very discretionary. Like I said, it's not something that is,
And you automatic also will consider.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, my main scenario way so say when fan say maame no a wakako ware be ma foforo no any afebo, but bema no indefinite leave to remain on naturalized and as on your British. And kwala ni betimi register omo.
Sɛ ɔnya ne British citizenship based on their policy guidance under Section 3.1, unfortunately, it will be difficult for them to be registered as well because they require, say, either one of the parents has British citizenship, or we're saying, say, even if both parents have settled status, we will consider it. But where um ɔmo baako any British
Settle
citizenship,
settle.
and so it makes it very difficult for them to then apply their discretion in that scenario because ɔmo policy is based along those lines. That, for instance, if one parent is British and then ABA and Kolani Afebo and the other parents has the settled status, then they will go ahead and consider registration in that case. Yeah.
So as a strategy no be more family no be to mo say the indefinite leave to remain no, on proceeding on naturalization sebeya
Yeah.
and kwala no betimi benefit from it. Would
I'll
that work?
benefit from that definitely. And so of course, so o kase o person register in Kolano na one kasa non so you are eligible for naturalization. Then we say of course go ahead with your naturalization na yen register in Kolano so, and then at least they will be giving it the decision at the same time. And see at least that way you are killing two birds with one stone.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So afei na wa join here. You will be WTV so any lawyer sorry, mo fancham. Any lawyer Eunice and Eddie Nkomo and person here if you da and bia no. Yene BWF solicitors for so and Cambo Mede Abro on fourth floor and a house 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road no so Seven Sisters North London N15 4 NP office number no Sabra make us office na BNT ofra unsa ebeka busuafo Auntie Sandra any all the front desk administrators ni nyina ewo ha obetimi aboa ama nkomo no akoyi okay appointment and ade a obetimi ante afa won so 0208 493 7340 and I say emergency number 077-127-61884. Later on, midday, Eunice Ankasa number no so ebetuja ede amount. And then open say offer into the program. Number the ejuma no 0208-493-7345. Me see number no so ebu 0208-493-7345. Ɛno ɛyɛ studio number no a yɛde ɛyɛ adwuma ɛno nti sɛ ɛbrɛ no so ne activity lines no a wobɛtumi afrɛ na afei ɔne lawyer Eunice adi nkɔmmɔ. Later on at the tail end of the program we will be having Lawyer Annie to give us the English summary of the discussion we have had. The question is, can a child be registered to be British if the mother was married to someone else? Yankon Common so back. But in the meantime, say, question be able to me to comment section or either Facebook and YouTube na the amount. Yen text number no so to me at the first so what's happening is 07950422780 and our text 07399 208468. Now let me bring Lawyer Eunice back. Eunice said saa registration yi a yɛrekan maame no de mmɔfra no efiri previous relationship mu, whether married or a single one, aba mu. Saa sole responsibility sam no, does it come to play here? Mibisa because bi ana papa a ɔne maame no ɛwo mmɔfra no in the previous relationship and still in the life of the children. Saa no ɛba na saa, do we have to prove who is taking care of them now as far as sole responsibility is concerned?
It's a very interesting question because when it comes to registration and asset nationality applications, that they always ask for consent if the child is under the age of 18. And see if for any reason application no now parents of the child that they will ask for the parents to sign, say they agree for this child to be registered as British. So in the case where, for instance, yɛn kind of say, maame no ɛna ɛrehwɛ nkwadaa no ɛna papa no ɛyɛ should I say distant parent and he's not really in the child's life. So this is a scenario where obviously I'm believing or I'm thinking say she's not currently in a relationship with the children's father. And see if that is the case, now Papa Nonso plays a certain role. He's not necessarily the one with which Mameno Enenetse, and he's playing a certain role in the children's lives, then definitely he will also have to consent to the application, whether he is the sole parent in their life or not. He just has to give his consent to the application, unless you are saying, say, unnim baby a papa no wo," and he's not living in the country and see any idea over to me any no contact.
But it's interesting. Technically, no, the man in the marriage now is technically the father of the children. It is also responsibility. Then they can also contest and say, "Listen, I'm the father."
With like you're saying, when it comes to the law, no, obviously he's the father because obviously he's the one in the marriage. But where you're saying that it's from a previous marriage, so ansa na ube wareno na nkwalano ewo hodeda, then they are not necessarily going to look at the marriage scenario because this was a child who was born outside of the marriage. Because this child was born outside of the marriage, they will be looking at the birth set to see who the father is. And if the father is Mr. Esiedu, then they will be thinking, okay, is Mr. Esiedu going to consent to the children being British? And then, of course, if you are saying that Mr. Esiedu is going to consent, then Mr. Esiedu has to give his consent to the application to go ahead into Sana or almost Reno because for some reason they always have on there that both parents, both father and mother, have to give their consent to the child being registered as British. And I think it's because of Imbrana Ewohono, because they know say they want children to be seen as legitimized into say omo parents no na omo nya awarefo ansana yɛwɔ akwadaa no a by any means possible whoever was married to the obviously the mother at the time of akwadaa no birth no ɛbɛyɛ akwadaa no papa. But if she was not married at that time, then they will have to look at whether this child was born before July 2006 or after July 2006. So if it was before they expect say maame no enya ne settlement nti obe register akwadaa no. But it was after July 2006, then it means say if the father was either British or settled at the time of the birth, they will have to prove whether they're on the birth set and I say they have DNA evidence to prove that no more yakolane papa before they can register that child. And so it's based on evidence that will be to me I present here more.
Okay. Well, wobɛtumi afrɛ sɛ bi kankaeɛ no yɛn telephone numbers no na mede ato screen no so no 0208 493 7345 wobɛtext 07399 208 anaa wowɔ WhatsApp and a voice note 07950422 780 It could be a question about the discussing say you between register akwala ma British say na ne maame no married to someone else. It means so yeah any other question Eunice already say obey you or before you got your calls no so and text messages no so loyalist my me say yeah register akwala and then it day and a requirement meaning say yɛde abɔfra no aba ne relationship yi a ɛka ho asɛm the father qualification no ɛwɔ hɔ ɛdɛn bio ɛne yɛbɛhwɛ a yɛbɛtumi agyina so I successfully register a child as a British citizen.
And see, usually, under Mbrano, first of all, you have to be able to prove if the child was a child born after the 1st of July 2006. Say, ne papa any. It's ABA, one no, moya warifo no, more ho, but unfortunately, and you no, and akola ne papa. ABA no so any settlements and I said British citizenship into you want to rely on Akolano biological father who is British, to be able to register the child. And see say Akolano biological father no ɛna ɛyɛ British na wogyina saa akwadaa no so to say sɛ akwadaa yi papa yi wanya ne British citizenship mewɔ no no na of course na meyɛ married to somebody else but sisi adeɛ metumi ayɛ DNA. They don't put the onus on you to to provide the DNA, but we always advise say nipa korɔ no ɛyɛ awarefoɔ deɛ a then always do a DNA to prove to them say indeed akwadaa no papa ɛyɛ asomasi wei ɛnyɛ deɛ ama ware no no. Nti once you've got DNA evidence proof say akwadaa no papa ɛyɛ Mr. B, then you go ahead and say open sɛ o register akwadaa no as British because ɛnyɛ me kunu ɛna ɛyɛ akwadaa no papa ɛyɛ Mr. B ɛna ɛyɛ akwadaa no papa nti mekyerɛ mo sɛ metumi ɛde saa evidence wei aba. And then they expect say even though the child may be under 18 and in some circumstances if the child was born outside of the UK, they may be over the age of 18. You'll be able to show say more good character and so into of course good character requirements no involves quite a number of different characteristics, especially when it comes to your crime. No, they don't want to know, say you have committed any crimes, whether in the UK or outside of the UK. And see, good character will include things like terrorism, criminal convictions, any prison sentences, undi bonebia wo w'edwuma mu anaasɛ road traffic offences anaasɛ biribi saa. Obviously all of those can come into play. Into they want to make sure that you are also a person who can be seen to be of good character. And last but not the least, of course, they want to have the consent of both parents if you are under the age of 18. But Wedru Umpenimu, which is the age of 18, now we your registration, yeah, and they will not need the consent of either parents because why your opinion are over to me and cause I sign a idea idea and see you don't necessarily need the consent of both parents when applying, but you will definitely need referees. Into there is always a section for referees, and our referees can verify say omunimo. Usually, those referees are people who are professional and able people and they expect say at least 2 of them sign for your registration. Into one of them can be a British passport holder, and the other one can be a non-British passport holder. And they expect say at least if they are over the age of 25, they are non-related to the applicant. Nti ɔmo nyɛ w'abusuani a wogyina ɔmo so sɛ ɔmo nyɛ referees ɛma wo, but they are non-related and are professionals who will be able to sign on your behalf in terms of a British passport registration application and as a British nationality application.
Okay, Busiafo Sabri, Bitena Kakra, na Yaba. When we come back, we'll be picking up your calls and also your comments, text messages. No, Kaise number say the year Juma studio Hana 0208 493 7345. And I say over text 0739 208 468. WhatsApp, a voice note, and WhatsApp messages no 0795 422 780. But I hope it's all fair. So let me your studio number is 0208 493 7345. BWF Solicitors and Equay Muma, your Digimedi, Brewo, and Unti Yantuankra, na Ebasisia.
Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced family law firm specializing in immigration and naturalization, as well as dispute resolution. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner with over 30 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stand for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity and inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance across all areas of UK and Ghana law. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Led by experienced senior partner Bernard Owusu, the team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with your immigration, naturalization, dispute resolution, family law, new wills and probate, Ghana law and practice needs. We are dedicated to providing solutions to our clients' problems. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Main office line 0208 493 7340 or our emergency line 07712 761 884.
Ready for the ultimate property and lifestyle experience? Get ready for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023, coming to 2 exciting locations. Join us in London on the 11th and 12th of November, where leading reputable real estate developers will be waiting to meet you face to face. Be inspired by industry experts as they provide thought-provoking panel discussions and live Q&A sessions. And finally, mark your calendars for the 16th and 17th of December when the Expo lands in Accra, Ghana. Experience the vibrant lifestyle and rich culture of Ghana while exploring investment opportunities in the thriving real estate market. Our expo will also feature exhibitors ranging from banking and legal services to estate and property management. Get all the support and information you need under one roof. So whether you're looking to invest, visit or simply explore the world of real estate, the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023 is the place to be. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Book your tickets now via Eventbrite for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023. Dream it, live it. You don't want to miss out.
Okay, Yatum Kraya saying I'm by Baba Batuaso. Medical money so between a friend 0208 493 7345. And I say over text 0739 208 468. If you also with me, I send a WhatsApp, your voice note as well 07950422 and I pay me lawyer Eunice and Waha. Now, you have a calls, no, be our line. So, hello, good morning.
Hello, but good morning.
Lioness, but what's in the gun?
Patron.
I know maybe some people say you're in still one can. So, yeah, or better question where you are normal. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Yabane, to say. Good. Yes, it does. So,
If I told me, could you British me? Na makofa mimaba mimano enye menene na wo na me de femi ni se ni ni and then go to the two and how na nem plan be renew the same time na and I do talk to you in back we are to get na dia my na what up to 2024 say the ekasi be ya but the real data the best by the me just my question is you mimi renew media me no be renew man na I don't so na mefa me time omo end na nkasa.
Okay.
That's what
Hold on, and yeah.
Yes, and see, this is a case where, for instance,
But what's in the gun? Okay, well, if I to say that you are, right? Okay, all right. Are you lawyer?
I'll show you. Okay, so this is a case where in Colano, almost free, I want to and Abba, almost ye papa ne emba. Into typically no, say oh your application way under appendix FMA. Umbeka say asitna na mame no wono and rabi and no debema in Colano so. And they will expect say in Colano will be able to get 2.5 again the same time mama no so ebe in the next 2.5 no. If for instance mama no is under the 5-year route there and there it means saying kolano so bet to me in almost settlement no straight after the 5 years is over. Say or 10-year route no so usually they will expect say omone mama no be 10-year route no so edru sa empempen so and sana to me indefinite leave to remain. But we also have the private life route bar just last year in regards to Nkola under the age of 18. Into for instance, if Akola Eddie under the age of 18, young will no work room her na or kase wabetna a chrome her at least 7 years. Ne mame 10-year rules no so but ono there were to me ha legally for that 7-year period or non so to me I application for indefinite leave to remain in their own rights to be able to say because Watana has 7 years and say or J Afebo not senior over to me so aje ne British citizenship. So it depends on roots na on my no was no.
Awesome.
Yeah,
you too.
Our 5-year route so and 2025 no maybe me indefinite. Say me last year. The me indefinite and plan so may apply more so being indefinite and I'm better on the next 2.5.
Into ukoji indefinite na nkola so be indefinite ni bi.
Oh, okay, me that's it. Number 2,
under the age of 18. Otherwise, someone so if they are above the age of 18, someone so a year life in the UK need be any yeah English language test no.
Majority.
Man,
Now make us say, under the age of 18, dear, and they the same as wo, but
okay.
almost this last stage no normally above the age of 18 now. Someone so life in the UK test no any English language test no so.
A big one on me less than 18.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me that's it.
Yes, that's it. Thank you for calling 0208-493-7345. Also, with me, Afre. Lioness, you know, Joseph, had a question be about, I'll say, Also, who said about UK with actors on the 5-year route as skilled worker. Was all English test, any life in the UK test, and son I apply for indefinite leave to remain on any area.
So when it comes to the exes, of course, I am sure say he had it at the required level and sana Oba, and usually with skilled workers it's a level B2. So you wouldn't have to do the English test in Bium to or meet that English requirement in Bium because you already meet that requirement. But when it comes to life in the UK, of course, when it comes to that, I wouldn't necessarily say for settlement applications, no, under the skilled work routes, you will need it because there isn't that requirement there. But if you are naturalizing, yeah, then you would need the life in the UK test to be
Yes.
able to naturalize. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Over for us, the Gilbeek, or say, I was assisted by a certain whatever to switch my visa to a skilled worker visa, and he secretly added a lady whom I didn't know anything about as my partner. Please, how can I replace her with my true partner?
Okay, this is
Obi, I didn't know. So what you say? I didn't right one.
wow. Because our in any form, whether it's on an application or just the registration certificates, no, is seen as an important or relevant event in somebody's life. It's the say, oh, can say, yeah, application, no, nipa kono de to so keke, one fan to so keke. They definitely would have had some form of evidence to show say oh yeah worry for. So maybe apart from marriage certificates they had evidence to show say multiple mana something to show say mo yeah worry for ampa. And see it's not just the fact that they've stated on the application. um Without evidence the caseworker wouldn't believe that you are married to so so and so. And see, if that is the case, and they say, "Oh yeah, our no," na or to me,
But we say, and you're the photo. The father, they are the
I know, and of course, but unfortunately, no, nipa no so I'm sure say, oh yeah, application no, or the copy man no, and some all the biometrics, but say a company say you just agree to it, then it also has these consequences. Into when can say yeah, that's also keke. You have to now go through the process of divorce. And sana wait to me worry wo yere and kasa and sana wait to me application. No.
Oh wow. Masa so kahuna ekoyi ojuma na oyira nkasa nso ehia wo say o abeka wo ho. Yemhwe from so can a child who is 30 years and has been in the UK for a year get a British citizenship? Mother has pre-settled and father has indefinite. She has a baby sister who is British from birth.
Okay, and see, this is one of the scenarios that we were also discussing. Say, of course, say, akolano edi 13 na onye maybe a child the British partner na opesa or register to be British or betumi and usually under section 3(1) of your British Nationality Act where the discretion lies with the Secretary of State no if akola no in your 13 na ne parents ebi abako in your settlement and now other parents no ɛwɔ British citizenship and akwadaa baako nso ɛwɔ British citizenship they are likely to consider this child to have the UK be their permanent home. And the fact say awofoɔ no anaasɛ parent baako ɛwɔ settlement ɛne the other parents no ɛwɔ British citizenship no ɔbɛtumi register to be British.
Okay. Your call line so you were in be was so hello.
Hello, good morning, lawyer.
Good morning, boss. The same.
Boko, but maybe issue is not about way, it's about something different.
No problem, lawyer. It is with you. Why?
But me issue you want, and me application ma me call out Ghana. But one more later no more receive for land and I may DNA. It's me DNA and I may apply to and a woman for land. But for land one woman many and me and say, oh, many for the past 16 years. It's decided no man using so more receive to my men, but for land in I for. But one woman for land in these circumstances, let my customary marriage. I can't remember fire application.
Of course, into say, okay, said now we need enough evidence to show that when mommy not now for 15 years now, then it's better say over here our reno into we'll say we are fear our reno less than over 15 years ago. Then they will register it to say yes, I feel now I customer marriage certificate no, but our reno dear now over 15 years ago now more worry.
But before application, me and say me next. But me worry. But it's a make my man no I say oh my worry but after 15 years.
Okay, it is say okay say unware no dia and it's better say obeka say afe na wa bebare no. Nti eno no sa no o year registration for customary marriage na why ne current date. But know that you will not be eligible to make the application under the EU routes into any free. Ebeye one of the appendix FM applications I also with your application fee and the IHS.
Okay. But you answer our question now.
Okay. Then we are my friend now. I teach you.
Then I want
Because
to say
already after the 31st of December, Nancy na ese with you.
Because the amount I can say because application me and say many young warrior. But I feel now what me say me a customary marriage, you know. Until me back date and I may
now hold on. Yeah, I'm picking to say. Oh, your application can say only in next year, but more worry.
More worry about the young passport.
No, yeah, Matthias. But say now, person will cast show almost say worry no. So, I feel now will catch them so worry. First, you now one in next year, worry, but I feel and I'm worry. In the time when I walk, I will now hear case so I can date when I can over to. Because what you can't catch them almost say me next year worry. And I may be catch them say say my worry no. The date when I can walk your case so I can over to.
The latest date na major.
And one is by in sky no.
Okay, but me to back date one.
David, because what you can't catch them was a worry. What is it?
But me because one alone, some year date and there I won't accept it like say I feel my warrant because maybe background because after 2019 that time the men and
Obia and shall say and then I'll worry inti and then someone in it's now one in the war back. Because that relationship is accepted. Then ya worry. Meaning so what you say?
Yes, my church.
In this kind of situation, it's here. Why?
Yes, my church.
Okay, and that's CP. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It is a.
Yes, good morning. I'm also.
Nyami Mboko. Lo ayi ni swachi ane ne bi so asem no.
Ni say na make sure no pay. Na ya da ma fans say the question be ayo be a mutu cheche mu kama ma yesi ase. Me facho medical send a text message na o explain but then say na me say papa no ewo settled like indefinite leave under EU na ma me no so pre-settled and akwa no so buy no oba last year and onya indefinite leave to remain akwa no indefinite leave to remain but all 13 years it's impatient say me apply for British passport mana and me me akitwa bi so abananse a ono so onya British citizenship no from birth. Yeah, since I may apply, may register, okay, and because saying like parents may be British.
Into
Ɛnyɛ
so wonsaka will let's say will settle status into akolano ebia wouldn't free Ghana ba. Opesa wo hwe say ebia wo betumi register now. And I make I say usually under section 3.1 dear say the fact that parents back where British citizenship there, then it's possible. But to say our explaining say if papa no were pre-settled, and it might be difficult for them to accept say or be register as British. Into ebia it might be say because akola no enya akola wo no krom ha wouldn't if free amanone aba wo pese ono so sa no ebe British no at the same time as akwadaa no deɛ no also betumi ayɛ wo naturalization application sɛn a wɔde British citizenship no ɛbɛma akwadaa no. Pakyɛ wate aseɛ.
But nice also one of the parents, papa never indefinite no, but I mean indefinite me or
Pre-settled, yeah.
The papa no ana I the British citizenship but it's
Yeah.
But another question, but maybe sorry, like now from a concerned mother, ever me, but if I can tell me Anna May, and I'm mother, so me ma wo me wo maternity leave, but meaning say, make me a manaba, a bra, make me a sponsor me. Say, me near you must say more maternity leave, say, a bit me okay for that.
Okay, so why never sponsor mommy? In terms of in terms of assistant no betina ha no, let's say if it's 2 weeks crampo or betina ha, why never share no?
Not me say be on no to fans be like obey me. Abana me to support me like give me or no.
But also wunye adwuma nti uzika na wunya no crampo no maternity pay no de enhye da ndoso because maternity pay no ye gitu afa nti never sika na o de behwe no.
So before maternity na me ye adwuma nti like me boa me ho me wo sika ho.
Oh, savings kakra oh.
Me pa try.
Okay. Nti say what savings there and then you are saying say oba for 2 weeks and I say 1 month savings way and I me wo ho a me pese me use edition no ni ticket no me na me to nti bibia e fa sika sem ho bia no me wo sika me de behwe no and so you present at least will bank statements for that savings account now no. And then of course, so also on and it's now you obviously have to state that in your invitation letter and say, I me mame besra me ma wo me ba second one and third one and what and fourth one in see yeah naming ceremony me pese me mame eba ceremony ni bi into as much as possible no nkyɛn ɛna ɔbɛtena mewɔ sika a metumi aka sɛ mede bɛhwɛ no for the period na ɔbɛtena ha no and if wo maame ɛwɔ ekunu nso ɛwɔ Ghana she has to show sɛ ne kunu nso da so te Ghana ebi a ɔwɔ nneɛma bi a ɔyɛ ɛwɔ fie a ebi a ɔka sɛ because of saa nneɛma no a ɔyɛ wɔ fie no nti ɛnyɛ adeɛ a ɔbɛtena ekurom ha because remember sɛ woyɛ visit application a based on nipa na ɔreba no whether ɔbɛtumi akyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ genuine visitor a ɔbɛfiri ekurom ha nti you have to present evidence of nneɛma a ɔyɛ wɔ fie a ɔmo bɛtumi agye di sɛ ɔba a ɔbɛsan n'akyi akɔ back.
Yes, that's CP. Time and tea. I'm saying you better hold on to calls, no, because I don't know. Yeah, so we have a few texts on the platform as well, and lawyer Annie is also ready to give us the English summary. Lawyer, I mean, for 2 quick ones. Now, you or say if international students doing her 1 year postgraduate course, MSc in UK, got pregnant, and because of her condition, she decided to apply for a break, what will be the effect on her student visa?
Usually, no, they don't allow for deferred entry or post study on student visa. It's a, if she's asking for a break, then I'm sure she will have to obviously find ways and means to complete the course whilst on her break, because um one of the conditions is that you don't defer your entry or you don't postpone dates now but start to course no, because CAS no, which is the certificate of acceptance of study, you know, will have your start date and your end date, and zenona omujina so ede visa na say student visa no ede ma wo. And see, if you are deferring your course, then you have to make sure that you are also studying outside of the school hours or whatever it is, because say asetena no so ebewu, then it will also mean say you will have to show say you have ways and means to switch to a different route if you are not going to remain as a student. And if the school is willing uh, to give you another start date, then they will tell you to return back to your country of origin and make the application from there, because when to me and start a course, no, as stated. So you just have to think about these implications as well, unless you have another route that open or switch your course or to say a skilled worker route and I say in cases where they expect, say, you would have completed a course, you will be able to switch to the skilled worker route, unless you have family here and you're saying, say, Abia, Akolano, make sure ne papa no whether British citizenship na man or nti me to me age na Akolano so de aye nkrata to switch.
Okay, and call now for the very last one before we do our English summary. We say if myself and wife are on pre-settled status, were children given birth to during that period become British citizens? If not, at what stage would they be given British citizenship when we both qualify for settled status on EU pre-settled status? This is one of the various scenarios, the preconditions.
Yes, yes, when it comes to parents who both have pre-settled status, yeah, I'm sure say he's referring to non-EU nationals. And see if they are both non-EU nationals who have pre-settled status and children who are also um on the pre-settled status, yeah, then it would have to be say omo mienu awo for mienu no omo sa ebeka omo afebo and as a settled status and sana omo betumi I register in Kolano to be British. And see they would have to definitely have their settled status before the children can be registered to be British.
Well. Time also say ye kofa ye summary no ade brewo. Now I'm going to introduce lawyer Annie Akofio Soa, who will get us the summary of what we discussed this morning in English. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning also to all our viewers. I hope you are good. So today I'll be just providing a quick summary in English. The topic was, can a child be registered to be British if the mother was married to someone else? So we specifically looked at the British Nationality Act 1981. And when we say child, we mean anyone who's between the ages of 0 and 17. So at the beginning of the program, we looked at who can be registered as a British child. So essentially, settled parents in the UK can register their child to be British if parents were not settled at the time that the child was born, but later on they get their settlement, then they can also apply for the child to be British. And lastly, if the child lived in the UK for the first 10 years of their life, then the parents can also apply for the child to be British. The next thing we looked at is can a child be automatically British if the father was not married? And as Lawyer Eunice said, it depends on when the child was born. So for children born between 1983 and before 2006, how it works is that if the mother was British, then the child would automatically be British. However, if the father was the British citizen, then the father must have been married to the mother in order for the child to be British. However, since the 1st of July 2006, this has changed. So there's no longer a requirement in place that the father must be married to the mother in order for the child to be British. So all that needs to be done is that the father would have to provide evidence that he is the biological father of the child. So in terms of evidence, you could provide, for example, the child's birth certificate, since the father's name would be on there. Any DNA tests, of course, would also demonstrate that he's the natural father. And then, as Lawyer Eunice said, any court orders as well could confirm that he is indeed the father. So yeah, that's good news. It means that a mother doesn't have to wait to receive settlement if she's, if the father is British. The next thing that we looked at is whether it matters if a child was born outside of the UK. And basically, there's a concept known as British citizenship by descent. So, this is where British citizenship can be passed down one generation for generations born abroad. So, in order for a child born outside of the UK to be British, um, either of the parents must have been born in the UK or adopted in the UK, or they must have obtained citizenship in their own right. So, for example, by naturalization, or they must have, for example, served as a crown servant. The last thing that we looked at is discretion. So the Home Office, in certain circumstances, can use their discretion to decide whether a child should be British, and this is under Section 3(1). So, for example, if the child is under the age of 13, the Home Office will look to see how long the child has lived in the UK. And if they've lived in the UK for less than 2 years, again, they could use their discretion to decide whether the child should basically be allowed to be British, but this will not be automatic. The parents would have to register the child. And lastly, we looked also at the requirements for British passport application. So first of all, the person would have to be of good character, which means that they should not have committed any crimes, whether that's in the UK or outside of the UK. So that's things such as terrorism, and they shouldn't have been involved in terrorism, they shouldn't have convictions or prison sentences. Also, if the child is under the age of 18, consent of both parents is needed, and two referees would have to sign for the registration. So it could be one professional and the other one doesn't have to be a professional. And it's important that they're not related to the applicant. So that's just a quick summary for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Lawyer Annie. And we will be having the benefit of same summary for the next topic we'll be having next Friday. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the week. And Mimra Lawyer Eunice so Biona Mimra and the MBisa say and then now DJ Ansani, sorry.
Patrick, that's a very ne one brain out there, my when it comes to immigration, there will be a name service of F solicitors, you didn't wait your map, but then yet immigration, same and say, and you didn't wait your map into some more family issues such as child arrangement audit, or if, for instance, bibi esi wo ne wo partner and na there's some form of abuse. Now open court order to me ama will break from what is going on. Your friend non-molestation. Inside no sano open soldier non-molestation order, nasa occupation order free courts na able to me abwa with a no if it's to do with divorce so any ancillary relief no so san also yɛde ho adwuma. And of course yɛpɛn nso ɛyɛ wills in regards to whether wowɔ agyapadeɛ ɛwɔ efie anaasɛ UK kurom ha ɔbɛtumi aboa with will writing ɛna yɛyɛ probate nso so adwuma. Nti of course there's a range of nneɛma a yɛde ho adwuma. Nti wopɛ sɛ wo ne yɛn edi nkɔmmɔ anaasɛ wopɛ sɛ wobisa w'asɛm ɛfa whichever area wo wopɛ mboa a ɛndeɛ wobɛtumi afrɛ yɛn ɛwɔ office. Offices yɛ office no ɛwɔ Seven Sisters nti address no ɛyɛ 4th floor of Anna House. 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road no so. Postcode no yɛ N15 4NP. Your offices no yɛ from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. every Monday to Friday, apart from bank holidays. Na opesa offer outside of working hours nso so a my number no ɛna ɛwɔ screen no so 075 35 813910.
Okay, Lioness, Miss Midasi P. Isanope, when you're bre na when yen atwitwe nkɔmmɔ no ama me ho kwan sɛ me moderate program bi for on behalf of Nama your team that will be ase. Nim some questions no bebree wo ho a yɛntimi enya bre amfa. But as we go on in the coming days, yɛde bɛba na afei lawyer for no abɔmmɔden ayi ano ade ama yɛ. Mom yɛmfa aseda ma BWF Solicitors yɛmfa aseda nso so ma abusuafoɔ nyinaa sɛ monya adagyeɛ de tie yɛ. Nyame yɛ adom akyena we'll be having the community and the law. And next week, Thursday, there will be another legal education that will be done with Rainbow Radio International. Then Friday, we'll be back. Me sure say no not my tia, but say Maya. You see me as well hosting the program. Professor Ade and my studio technician and director and our things. So my guest for this morning was lawyer Eunice Champon or BWF Solicitors. The number is so no 07535 813910. Sharon Sosa and Mami 07535 813910. We see so be also so at the amount say BWF Solicitors on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, North London, N15 4NP. Fairone war 0208 493 7340. Ebio Yefremi Usufrimpon. Good morning.